Premiered at Toronto, which was fantastic. And, we were really happy with the warm reception the film got. And then we went to BFI, which was also fantastic. And now we're here.
Yeah, so it's going to be in a few countries around the world, and it'll be basically North America, UK, the Gulf, India. Like mostly Indian movies, if you follow them, do release in almost 35, 40 countries outside its country of origin. But with Super Boys, we're trying to obviously take it a little outside the Indian diaspora as well. That's why it's been this journey of festivals and trying to get as much awareness and get the film to the forefront of just not the diaspora and even try to extend that.
Also, the source material really lends itself to a larger international audience, a global audience, and it's like it's a very small story that actually has very long legs, I feel, and I think that it speaks to people, to anybody who has a dream, So yeah. Original documentary, I mean, it's a great film, which I love. It's more about the making of one film, it kind of covers about a month of Nasir's life. Whereas our film, it's about the man himself and kind of goes over 10 years of his life. I've always wanted to do this film, but I think both Zoya and I have always wanted to do this film. And Excel, that's Farhan and Ritesh. We've worked with them. They've done our first films, and now that Zoya and I have Tiger Baby, we work with them a lot. We co-produce with them a lot. And Nasir was very involved in the King because, we were very aware of the documentary and that it's out there. So we wanted, obviously, to give a fresh take. So our writer, Varun Grover, went to Malegaon, spent a lot of time with him. Nasir is a great kind of archivist of his own life. So there's a lot of material that he gave us. And we kind of started from a clean slate, a blank page, so to speak. Yeah.
Actually, it's really interesting when you asked about how this all came about. Zoya and I were at Ocean Festival in Delhi. This is maybe 20 years ago, I guess.
Less, about 14.
Maybe 14 years ago. Like somewhere there. And we had just seen the documentary. And we were there with our films at Ocean. And I remember Nasir was in the audience in a Q&A that Zoya and I were doing. And he came and introduced himself to us and said that I'm Nasir and, my film, you may have seen it. So that's when we actually met him, and Zoya spoke to him saying, I loved your story, and I'd like to see if we can make it into a film. So that's really when the conversation of this kind of started.
And kind of funnily, a lot of his films. So when Nasir came up to Zoya, he was like, I've ripped off all your dad's films.
Yeah, so all his films, the ones that he ripped off, like Sholay and Shan, they were written by Salim uncle and my dad, who were writing partners then. So I think he also felt some connection to the next of kin when he came and met us. Actually, he was really happy that somebody had featured him in some piece of work, and had recognized what he had done for his community and for Malegaon. So that's really where he was, and he was just excited to be there and meet people, and we were just really glad that we got to meet him as well, because that's led to now Reema making this film and Adarsh playing Nasir, in the film. So it's been quite a journey.
So when I got locked for the film, I had seen the documentary and I was a huge fan of the documentary. But when I met Reema and we were discussing about it, what we were clear was to not mimic Nasir in any way, but to kind of embody his essence. He's a very charismatic man. He's a great leader, very good salesman, very good at pitching himself. So what I really did was I honestly didn't have a plan. So I just told Reema that I want to go to Malegaon for some time and just spend some time with Nasir, just shadowing him around and meeting his friends. Which is what I started doing. And within the first week, I was like, why don't I make my own film and get Nasir to direct it so that I can watch him direct, because he doesn't direct films anymore. He's taken a break from making films. So I convinced him to make a film, and I produced it, and I assisted on the film, made my own documentary of it. So it's kind of like a metaverse happening there. Yeah, but it wasn't planned. I usually don't have a plan when I start prepping for a character. And it was so much fun. Not just observing him, but also meeting these people from his past, some of whom even he wasn't in touch with very regularly. And then I saw him get nostalgic with these people. A lot of those characters appear in the film. And he took me to these spots. I would ask him, where would you sit and think about your ideas? So he took me to like this open agricultural field, and we sat under a tree that he used to sit under and ideate. It was just something very magical about the whole experience. And what I found very, very strange was that the hotel at which Nasir and his bunch of friends would spend most of their time ideating, which was kind of in the main market area of Malegaon, was called Adarsh Hotel. And I mean, Adarsh is a common name in India, so it's but it's still an incredible coincidence for me.
I think it's very inspiring, the story. Have you seen the film? Have you watched it? So I think if you see the film, it is about a dream where it's something so unimaginable about like even to think about these group of ragtag guys coming together and thinking of something which is so extraordinary and then achieving that. So I think it's absolutely inspiring to see how they go about doing that. I know it's a lot to do with the friendship of these people and about going and making this film. So I think really was the thread for me, and you emotionally connect with it immediately. So I mean, they decided to make a film, but it's just that I think through Nasir's life and his ambition about how he put and brought life into this town, where people didn't have anything to do post their working hours, and how he made a film about them, with them, is truly inspiring. So I think that on its first read only like just touched you. And even when the documentary had come out and we watched it, we knew there is something really special there about this man.